Hey,
Hello.
David, can you hear me
Hi,
okay?
Kristen. Yes, I can, Darren. How are you?
Great, and yourself there.
I apologize for being 1 minute late. I was on time and then the lighting was awful and I had to fix it.
Right on time by New York standards.
Oh, all right.
The first question I have, I never could figure this out. Are you Dave or David to anyone in the world, or are you Davey to everybody?
I'm so many different things to so many different people. The names you have listed don't even begin to cover the names that people refer to me by. And that doesn't even include pejoratives.
Wow. I bring that up because I like to find out what people are actually called. For the long time held Robert De Niro, everyone who knows him, you call him Bobby if
Right.
you know him. So I didn't know if it's kind
I
of
call him Bobby when I'm
I
having
didn't know
dinner.
if it's a yeah, I know Dave from AFI and that's what it is or not. But anyway,
It
congratulations.
depends. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have many names. I should be lauded for that. It really, had nothing to do with me. People just give them to me. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, congratulations on the Bodies album. Sounds great. I know you never try to write commercial material, but it's commercial. There's
Wow.
hits on this album.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. It would certainly be nice if the commercial world agreed with you.
Well, the first song I heard is the song that you and Billy Corgan, who I don't know if I should now go, oh, William Corgan and you,
William P.
or Bill, but
William P.
whatever it is that the first time you've co-written a song that was on the album?
That's the first time we've ever co-written a song that we've ever collaborated with anyone outside of AFI before. And it was something that we were really excited to do when Billy approached us with the offer, being that we all feel he is one of the greatest songwriters of our generation, of our lifetime. And it was thrilling. What an experience and what a song. Wow.
Great song, great
Thank you.
video, very cool looking video, to say the least. In this era of Zoom-based music videos, it's an alternative to that.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. We worked very closely with Adam Mason, who really understands us. He's created many great videos. He's created many great videos, some of which were for AFI and Black Audio. Jade and I first worked with Adam doing Black Audio videos. And as I said, he really understands us and he really gets the vision and he really gets the references and he comes from a similar background. He is British and quite a Fields of the Nephilim fan and the groups that surround that. And when we went into that, I felt the song had a bit of a 4AD vibe. And so I was going for that when I was discussing what I envisioned with Adam. Those were some of the references. And he really got it. I'm so happy with that video. I think it's very beautiful.
You make a good point about 4AD records always sounding great. The Pixies sounded great, but I thought they were kind of a rarity for that compared to, say, Ultra Vivid Scene, that kind of thing. Is that
you don't think the 4AD band sounded great other than the Pixies? The production?
No,
it's
the opposite. The Pixies were like the most lo-fi.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I would imagine that was intentional, being that they're so gritty and grimy and down in the dirt. Which is, that's interesting that you point that out because I've never consciously really recognized that, but I did recognize that they were a standout act for many reasons, not just culturally, but within the context of 4AD. In fact, so much that I forget, going back to think about the Pixies, I often forget that they were on 4AD until you look at the album covers and you see that Von Oliver. Man,
the things you learn from doing press days, Davey. Wow.
Ah, yes.
So when you were writing the song with Billy,
Mm.
some artists that I've known will go, I am not co-writing a song unless there's an album or a project. I don't do one-off fun co-write sessions. Was it something like where you went to Billy, hey, we think this might be for an album, or is it just friendship and you were writing and it was easy like that?
We were in the midst of creating what would become Bodies. And so we were already in the flow of writing, and that opportunity came to us during that session. So it was perfect. It was really perfect timing in regards to that. And the hope was that what we created would end up on the record. And after some months, it did. And It's truly one of my favorite AFI songs. And the lyric for me is, I feel it's one of the best lyrics I've written. I really look forward to playing it someday. That'd be nice.
Is it a 1-for-1 in terms of co-writes? In other words, that was the only song that was co-written for this album?
Yeah, that's the only song that was co-written for this album. That was the only song we've ever co-written. That song is a product of, I believe, a few days. Jade could correct me if my memory serves me. There were 2 days of writing that resulted in Dulceria. Well, there were at least 2 days that I was involved in, but I think Jade and Billy wrote prior to that a little bit. And what happened was we sat down and we all worked together. And by that, I mean, I watched Billy on bass and Jade on guitar playing off of each other as Billy wrote melodies and said to me, sing that, see how your voice sounds. And then Jade went and took all of those sessions and created Dulceria out of the moments, sent that to me, and then I wrote the lyric around that beautiful top line that Mr. Corgan, Mr. William P. wrote.
Wow. This song notably has a key change in the chorus. The only other song I can think of offhand that's a key change in the chorus is Crazy Crazy Nights by Kiss. I don't know if you know that song, but
in fact, these are crazy, crazy,
exactly.
crazy, crazy nights. Oh yeah. That's it, right?
That's it. And it, like, the key change happens like 3 or 4 times. It's like too many key changes. But I
Wow.
couldn't think of another song that has a key change in the chorus besides your song and that one.
I believe there are songs in the AFI catalog that have key change. I can tell you this not because I am musical, but because of me being involved in the creation of that song and being struck by suddenly changing keys. Jade would definitely be able to tell you. I think there are some. I can't believe we just talked about Kiss Crazy Nights.
Why not?
Now the reason I know that song is because it got a lot of MTV play when it came out, right?
Yeah.
That would be the only reason I would know that, right? What year was that? Was that like 90?
I think that was 86. From the Crazy Nights album. Crazy Nights from the Crazy Nights album.
Man, they go deep. Kiss always has. Kiss always has. Big influence on me.
Well,
lyrically mostly.
So the song "Take It Off When You Feel a Little Dirty" around 11:30, is that the line?
Is that the time? I had no idea. Do they mean AM or PM? For a real good time, they better mean AM. Let me tell you.
The things that I learned.
If there's one to tell Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have a good time, it's this guy here. Although Gene Simmons and I don't, he doesn't drink or do drugs and never has, I believe.
That is correct. There's a story in his autobiography about accidentally eating a pot brownie because he was hungry.
Oh man,
that's
a drag.
It happens to the best of us.
That's a drag. It has not happened to me, but I am not the best of us.
But back to you and praising what you do. See, for most people, having a band that's successful like AFI would be enough, but there's Black Audio, Extremist, Dreamcat, you write books, you've had clothing lines. Do you view at this point in time AFI as your day job and then everything else a side project, or is that wrong?
No, I've never viewed any of that as side projects because I'm very passionate about all of the things I embark upon artistically. Otherwise, I wouldn't do them. No matter what the art form is, whether it's writing or whether it's music or whether it's, I mean, my forays into fashion have been brief, but I am a big fan of design in fashion and outside of fashion and furniture and architecture and whatnot. But
yeah,
I, if, taking Dream Car, well, no, I would say the one Extremist was viewed as a side project. For me, that was a moment, a burst, and I had no intention of doing it more than once. But other than that, the rest I never viewed as a side project. No, as side projects.
Is that the first time that somebody's accidentally called Dreamcart Dreamcat?
I wasn't sure what the consonant you placed at the end of that. It seemed like it was just sort of a decay and a fade away and a round sound. I thought maybe it was a strange, like maybe Bostonian accent that suddenly cut through.
Good, yeah.
But I'm happy to hear that it was a cat. which is also a great name for a band. Dreamcat is really nice and very modern. You know,
And
I
lots
could
of
see like a
images in the choruses.
synthwave band being a Dreamcat, you know.
Well, back to the album bodies. So, do you have a favorite song, or is that just the worst question to ask somebody who writes songs?
It's not the worst question. Certainly, there are far worse. I don't have a favorite song. I don't even have favorite. I generally don't have favorite songs from artists I listen to. It's hard for me to pick favorites. Certainly impossible for me to pick favorites in songs that I'm a part in creating. It's such a different experience, you know, when you're making it. You have such a I have one often does and one often doesn't, but I have such a personal relationship with each of the songs, and each of them means so much to me. And that goes for songs that are on the record and songs that people will never hear, at least at this moment in time. Like everything else, that sometimes fades, but not always.
But when I was saying before, hey, there are some hits, there's some commercial stuff, something like Far Too Near. When you write something like that, do you go, this could be a single, or is that the furthest thought from your mind?
No, I mean, it's interesting because working in this era, it couldn't be a single. We think, that could be a single in like 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Fair.
You know, and so it really, that's, the thought is no more or less than that. And we still like the song, you know. So as you pointed out, our intention isn't to create one thing or another. Generally, we sit down and we write and we let whatever happen naturally. And if we gravitate toward one thing, we move further in that direction. And if something is underwhelming, then we move away from it. And if something moves us, whether it be something like Far Too Near, which has very poppy melodic elements to it, or something more minimal and cold like Death of the Party, or something that would never be played on the radio at any point in time, except maybe in the 90s, like Tied to a Tree. So that's how we create. Really, our intention is creating something that we're really happy with. But yeah, there are those moments where we think, oh yeah, once upon a time, that thing that doesn't exist anymore called radio would have played.
Yeah, well, being mindful of your time, my last question for you is, do you have a TV recommendation that you could pass on to somebody who needs a new show to start?
Television. No, I don't watch television. I haven't in years. The last thing so that's incorrect. I have in years. Until Euphoria, which two of my friends just beat me into watching. I watched it all in Arkansas on 2 days off on the Blood Tour, and enjoyed it very, very much because it really appeals to my sensibilities and the commentary on culture. And I think it's a really good representation of youth culture these days. And people who enjoyed my books and know me well really insisted that I watch that. So Euphoria. Although I didn't keep up with it. Apparently the monologue episode that happens, it's not quite a monologue, but the conversation episode that happened during quarantine, I didn't watch that. It's hard for me to watch TV. I just watched, for the first time since I was a teenager, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. I encourage a revisit of that Russ Meyer joint, which was written by Robert Ebert. Did you know that?
Yes, it was. That was
and
his
Russ
one
Meyer
screenwriting credit. Yes.
Yeah. Love it. I wish that were my one screenwriting credit. Z-Man, what a man. Watch that. Just go real. It's very enriching.
Good pick. Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you live in New York when things get back to normal. But in the meantime, keep listening to Kiss and just believe.
I will. 11:30 tonight. Nude.
Thanks, Davey.
Paltrocast.